Hey everyone, this is Kevin again, and today I'm going to share with you my life lesson. Before I start my story, life lesson to me is something everybody goes through multiple times throughout their life, and it's something that they can pull something positive away from it, but overall give you a better sense of what life is really all about. But to start my story of my life lesson, it's unfortunately a traumatic story that had to give me a life lesson, give me an overall outlook, a new outlook on life. It's about my friend Kyle, an old friend from my old town up where I used to live before I moved down here. We've been friends for 8 years. Since we were friends, we always skateboarded with each other. We did everything with each other. We were like best friends. And one day down after I moved down here, it was last year, October, and just one night I was getting text messages and about from like a couple of my other friends about how he was in an accident, a skateboarding accident, and I never thought it'd be anything serious. Him and we always skateboarded. We've been through accidents, broken bones and stuff, and that wasn't anything serious to us. So I was getting text messages that he's been in an accident, and I'm like, okay, and then I'm like, just keep me updated. And then it turns out I was just getting more text messages from the same people and a couple other of my friends that he hit his head and he was at medevac. And then I'm like, all right, well, keep me updated, keep me updated. So it comes to 2 in the morning the next morning, and I get a call from one of my friends how bad it is. He got medevac to the hospital, and his brain swelled up, so they had to take him into emergency surgery or do an operation to where they had to open up his skull and relieve pressure off the brain and drain any fluids that were coming out. So at this point, I couldn't even believe that this was happening. I leave my house down here at 2:30 in the morning, drive 2 hours to my old town up north, and his family's there, friends are there, and I just see how much this has affected immediately his parents, his family, and affecting me and my other friends of his, and just affected not and even the nurses and like the doctors. Just usually they're the like nurses or everyone in the hospital is trying to calm you down, but they knew that how serious the matter was, so they couldn't even pull themselves together, but they tried calming us down as much as possible. It turns out he hit his head. I don't know. No one knows. Like, no one was at the bottom of the hill. No one was around him. He just went down this hill. I know the hill he was going down. I've been down there, but I would personally never go down unless I'm wearing a helmet or knee pads, elbow pads and all that. Because even if you don't hit your head, you're getting some serious road rash. So he hit his head, either falling backwards or falling forwards. Even if he landed on his hands, he probably hit his head, knowing how fast he was going from the size of that hill. And where I used to live, it's just all mountains and hills. There's no flat ground anywhere. And so after the operation, the doctor comes in, and we're all going to see him one at a time. So it comes to my turn to go in to see him by myself. And this is a kid who had long hair. He was your typical skateboarder. He had long hair, growing his hair out and everything. And I walk in there, and it's like it's not even him. Just all of his hair's gone. They had to shave his head so they could do this operation. He had an incision from one side of his ear to the other, and it just looked bad. He had tubes coming out. It seemed like it looked like tubes were coming out every part of his body almost, like between the IV and the tube that was draining fluid out of his head, and the tube that was going down his throat. He had these mitts, like these cloth mitts on his hands, in case he woke up, he wasn't going to rip anything out. And it turns out he was actually in a coma, an induced coma, for at least about 2 weeks. And me not living up there anymore, I live 2 hours away. I'm in the middle of school, I have work. Trying to focus was the hardest thing I could possibly do. And it was really hard for me. Like, any time I had off of school, weekends, any time off of work, that was my time I would take to drive 2 hours away to see my friend, and just to see his progress, just to, praying for him and hoping he could pull through, because there was that chance that the doctor said there could be a blood clot, like, there could be a blood clot, and then we would have to go back in there, or there could just, a blood clot to the brain is just like death, pretty much. So, after around 2 weeks, when he came out of his coma, it was amazing that he was even alive. Obviously, I had no clue what happened. It was just crazy how, like, something went from just a simple text message to this phone call that he's basically in surgery and his brain is swelling and he could possibly die. And this is all happening within like 5-6 hours. And just taking this all in was just crazy for me to even cope with the whole situation. So this really taught me that, anything can happen at any moment, and how fragile life is. And when people say to you, and people have told me, live life to your fullest, do whatever you can to help out other people that need help, and, help out people that, even homeless people. Like, till this day, I've dedicated a lot of my time to helping out people that need help, from visiting children's hospitals who have, cancer, other diseases, and feeding the homeless, and just taking it into my own hands, that I want to improve everybody's life and mine, and just, make sure, like, everybody's being taken care of. Like, life, you never know, I guess, when your time is gonna come, and you just gotta live one day at a time, and just live life as best as you could. And after this whole experience with my friend, ever since that day, ever since I heard what happened to him, I've totally have had a different outlook on life. It just taught me how to, like, appreciate life a lot more, appreciate everyone around you, and don't take anything for granted. And that's really the biggest life lesson I've had throughout my life. I've had multiple life lessons, but this is the main one that was closest to me, that was really serious, and the one that affected me the most. So, to take away any positiveness from this is just to, take into consideration, not, like, don't do anything, don't go out and, like, do something stupid that'll jeopardize your life. And because you got to think of the other people that it's going to hurt. Like, if you go off and do something like skateboard down a hill and you die, it's going to hurt your family. It's going to hurt the people who love you more than yourself. And that's what I got out of this whole experience. And I look forward to hearing and seeing all your videos, and I hope you enjoyed mine. Thank you.